What's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you for an ML Sports Take. It's all brought to you by our great friends at Stanley Law Offices, Bowers and Company CPAs, and Burn Dairy. Make sure if you're in and around Central New York, get those fresh donuts, hot and cold food for both lunch and dinner, and the chocolate milk is to die for as well. And you can gas up your car also at Burn Dairy. Let's recap this game. Coming off a little bit of a head cold here, so if I'm a little congested or I have to cough a couple times, please bear with me. But I wanted to get this recap out. St. Bonnie wins at 72-65 over Richmond. Bonaventure now 20-8 on the season, 12-5 in the conference. And I'm just going to start and just go right down my laundry list of stuff that I have in my head. Number one, what a great game. I mean, this was a phenomenal game between all the lead changes, all the momentum, players making huge plays, especially in that first half. You kind of had a feeling that it was going to go down to the wire. It was tied 35 at halftime. And then the Bonnies, I thought, in the second half really got it together. They had their couple bad turnovers in both halves, for sure. But I thought in the second half, St. Bonaventure really got it together defensively, and that was a huge part of the victory. 4 of the 5 starters were in double figures tonight, 15 for Lofton, 13 for Holmes, 21 for Attaway, and 16 for Osun. And right there is where we're going to stop, because Osun is now the all-time blocks leader in St. Bonaventure history, breaking Caswell Cyrus, who I went to school with, that special 99-2000 team that almost knocked off Kentucky as a 12 seed in that noon game in Cleveland. I could still see it, like the whole thing. David Messiah Capers making those free throws. I'm 10 rows up from center court. After the Scott Norwood kick, I think that's the win that I wish I could have had. No question about it. But Osun was just a beast in this game. And look, heart and soul of the Bonaventure team. I mean, we've talked all the time about Attaway and Holmes and this and that. Lofton. You can make an argument for any of the starting 5 for sure, but tonight Osun really proved his heart and soul case in terms of coming back and playing from that really what looked like horrific ankle injury at St. Joe's. He goes for 16 points, 3 blocks, 2 steals, 6 rebounds, and then Attaway with 21 points and 7 rebounds. I got to tell you, folks, too, you know what else? Richmond only turned it over 11 times, but Bonaventure had only 8 turnovers as well. Pretty crazy. And Bonaventure usually is a team that can out-assist the other team. They only had 7. Richmond had 16. So this was a very strange game in terms of when you look at the overall numbers. You would look at it and go, man, Bonnie only they went 4-13 from 3. They got out rebounded by 6. They got out-assisted by 9. You'd look at those things and go, geez, how did they pull this thing off? But it was defensively. Richmond ended up shooting a poor 25.9% from 3. In the first half, I was very worried, leaving guys open. I thought maybe that could spiral out of control, which we've seen in the past with this Bonaventure defense not doing their thing on the perimeter. But I thought the Bonnies locked down. I thought they were really, really good also at covering a lot of inbounds, passes, and screens. Richmond was getting a lot of points in the paint, some easy buckets in that first half. I thought Bonaventure cleaned it up, starting with the outside, of course. But then, they were kind of working from the outside, inside. A lot of good switches, a lot of good doubles, a lot of good helps. And Bonaventure had a really good game from a block standpoint as well, 5 of those, and they had 6 steals. So this was a really, really good win. Look, I think right now this year has not gone how a lot of us had hoped. I think if you're talking about, March 4th, you were kind of hoping maybe the Bonnies would be like 23-5, right? With maybe 2 more wins in the A-10, maybe winning the game against Northern Iowa. I saw they were either up or winning tonight. A.J. Green going off again. But, it didn't really work out that way. The blowout losses to UConn, double figures, and then Virginia Tech. I mean, the Bonnies basically didn't show up. They lost by 37 in that game. But when you look at it here, and again, the at Dayton road trip was tough from a travel perspective. A lot of the crap that was going on, the planning, the hours of waiting, it just didn't seem like any of that made sense. And then you had the George Mason game where they go and they just got whacked. The 2 losses against Davidson and then at Richmond. But from that point on, at Richmond, St. Bonaventure won 8 of 9 to close it, and that VCU loss, they obviously got slaughtered pretty good, double figures, but that was also without Osun in that game. So, I think you have to, at least at this very point, and I know that Bonaventure has to win the A10 tournament. I get that. They're fully capable of it. They put themselves in a great position to do it. Look, can you win 4-4? Can you win 5-5? Sure. I mean, Mark Schmidt has said it. Look at that. I think it was 2011 with UConn. Look at the teams that have done it in the past, all across college basketball. But you're in a better position when you have less of a bench to win 3 games than 4 games, right? 3-3 instead of 4-4, or 5-5 in some cases, like the old, like the Big East tournament when UConn did it. So this is not what we had hoped at this point in terms of the overall record, but I have to give a huge round of applause to this group, this senior group. And again, they all have a year of eligibility left. We don't know what they're all going to do. I tell you, I would actually love to see these guys come back. I mean, run it back. Why not? I mean, how could you not? If you're a Bonaventure basketball fan, why would you not want these guys to come back? But I just think that it's a testament to these guys, their work ethic, their toughness, their togetherness. I heard the studio host partner of Kevin Connors on ESPN after the game brought up a really good point. You don't really see, because of the transfer portal and the one and dones and, 2 and dones and all the rest, you don't really see a lot of teams as connected as Bonaventure's guys are. Sure, you can talk about the on-court stuff, but it's about the bond that they have off the court. And I think that that's such an awesome, just was a great description about this team. And I just really want to hand it off, hats off to Osun and Jalen Attaway and Jaron Holmes and Dominic Welch and Kyle Lofton. They've just been huge pieces of this Bonaventure program. 4 of the 5 in the 1,000-point club. Osun now the all-time block leader at St. Bonaventure. Winning the A10 tournament title, winning the regular season last year, making history there. This team has gone through a lot. They've been there. I think that the next step for us as fans, alum, crazy Bonacall people was, hey, let's see this team now get back to the tournament and then win a game in the NCAA tournament. We saw them win in 2018 over UCLA in the in the first 4. In Dayton, but again, you're outside that main 64. I think, when you look at this, they got screwed. They shouldn't have been in that group at all. But I think if you look at, that main 64 group, winning a game, getting to the round of 32, hell, maybe even shocking the world and winning 2 and getting to the Sweet 16. Could you imagine? But first things first, Bonaventure had to win tonight. They did. Bonaventure had to close strong. They did. They got up into the top 4. They're going to have a shot to win 3 in 3 days in D.C. for the A10 tournament. And we'll just have to see. This game on a Friday night, by the way, really good for Bana, right? Because now they won't play. You have a loop around, full week off. That gives Osun an extra day. If this game were tomorrow, he wouldn't have that extra day, right? So you play Friday night. Now he gets up, rest, relaxation, cold, and ice and heat and all the rest. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but all the way through next week. And then you go down to D.C. and you hope for the best and roll the ball out. And let's see what these guys can bring to the table. But hats off, seriously, to Lofton, Welch, Holmes, Attaway, and Osun. Thank you guys so much for an unbelievable ride. And it's not over yet, but man, just a total hat tip and just total pride in that group, no question about it. So the Bonnies get a win 72-65, now 20-8 overall and 12-5 in the conference. Mike Lindsley with you here. It's an ML Sports Take brought to you by Elevate Fitness of Syracuse, Barks and Rec Doggy Daycare, and our great friends over at Tiny Bubbles Laundromat. 3 great locations in Central New York if you're in and around the area. Liverpool, East Syracuse, and Fulton. Get this. They have the Pay Range mobile app. And oh, by the way, you can wash, dry, and fold laundry for only $1 a pound at Tiny Bubbles Laundromat. Man, life is busy, right? You might not have a washer and dryer, whatever the heck the case may be. Get it all done at Tiny Bubbles, man. In and out. No problem. Thanks for watching. Please do me a huge favor and like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Tons more Bana content over the next several days. We'll talk A10 tournament. We'll talk more about Osun. I'm going to try to get a couple of Bana guests on my podcast coming up next week, so be on the lookout for that as well. My podcast called the ML Sports Platter. You can hear past interviews with head coach Mark Schmidt, JP Butler, and many others. I had the official Captain Beer, Dominic Greco, on recently, so definitely tune in to that program. Great win tonight. Great careers. Run it back, baby. Thanks again for watching. Hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports. Let's see if they can go do this in DC. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.